Hello and welcome back to Unreal Engine 5 Blueprint Mastery, Door Systems and Interactive Portals. Previously, we finished with the collisions of the multi-puzzle door. This door that takes these two puzzles, these two switches to get it open. Now, we also added this text, this flow text blueprint, that it will light this text, and we went on and enabled the physics on these boxes and created the switch blueprint, which we added two static meshes to represent the bottom part and the top part of the switch, and a box collision that we made it 3D parallelogram shape above the button, a very thin one. Then we went on and used the begin overlap and end overlap events of that box collision. We created a branch that the question, the condition, this time is we are getting all overlapped actors, and if this is length more than 1, then we ask if this is basically true or false, more than 0 or less than 0, because it's equal. So if it was less, it's impossible to be less, but if it was less, it would still go to true, then false. If we wanted to be 0 and above, it could be below or equal to 0. That would be covering the under 0. So let's add the timeline. I'm gonna draw a cable and press add timeline. Now let's enter the timeline and let's create a flow track. Let's create 2 points. The first one, of course, 0, 0. And the second one, let's say 0.5, 2, 1. And I'm going to fit it with these 2 buttons and use last keyframe and compile and save. Now, what will we do in update? Well, similar to the change rotation, that we used in this time set relative rotation. This time we will use set relative location. We're gonna get the first static mesh. We're gonna set relative location. We're gonna connect it to update. And we're gonna split this vector because we only want to change Z. So for this, we're going to lerp and we're going to connect the alpha here. Now for the value, we need from 0 to maybe -10. Yeah, -10 is fine. So I'm going to undo. So -10. And this would trigger it to go down. If we go to test it, let's press play. And I stepped on it, it went down. Now, it doesn't go up. Maybe we should put this a little bit more into the ground because the character doesn't seem to be able too easy to go up. So I'm guessing that this box will also be hard. Yeah. So we're gonna grab this, we're gonna push it down here, and we're gonna do the same, whoops, same to this one. I'm just gonna push it like this. Yep. All right. Now let's go back to the blueprint and let's create the opposite direction. So we're gonna use the same question. We're going to copy it and paste it and put it over here, and then we're going to use the reverse. So we're going to compile and save, and let's test it out. Let's compile and let's press play, and it goes down, it comes up, it goes down, it comes up. Great. Now, as we have a boolean in the lever that it says is solved, the same we need for this switch. So let's create this variable, is solved, and let's bring it over here. Now, when the timeline finishes and it goes forward, so switch on timeline direction, we're gonna set it's solved to true. And actually, we can also change the material. We're gonna get the static mesh 1, which is our prop pack, the trigger box, this one, the orange one. And we're gonna set material. We don't need two references. Set material, and this is, I think, pressure plate. Yeah, pressure plate on. And we're gonna copy this also and set it off when we step off the trigger box. Well, when the trigger box has nothing standing on it. We also need to sell is solved off when we step off. We won't wait until the whole timeline has finished. Well, this is actually more of a gameplay design. Like if you wait for the timeline to finish and then turn it off, or if you turn it off directly when you step off, it is a developer's choice. It's not a mandatory thing. So we are doing it when we instantly stepping off instead of waiting for the button to go up. And this should be pressure plate, plain, not on. All right, so let's go test this. Turns green, turns normal, turns green, turns normal. You see, if I step too fast, then it turns normal faster because it continues to play from where it was. Now, let's bring a box on a button and see that it doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is that by default, these boxes in their collision settings have the generate overlap events turned off. If I turn this on, it means that this collision box will not ignore this collision. But we don't want this to happen in every box. We just want this box, the one with the colors and it says push. So the other ones do nothing and this one will do something. So let's turn this on, generate overlap events. Let's compile, let's press play, and let's push this box. And it worked. And if I sit here, this works also. And the next step would be to make everything work together and create the door. Now let's push these ones on just to demonstrate that it's not working. Yes, it's not working, but if I step, it's working. So let's continue with duplicating our multi-puzzle door. So let's go to our multi-puzzle door. Where is it? Somehow to find it. I can press over here. No, actually I need it in the content browser. Anyway, I'm going manually. Oh yeah, this button over here. If I press this button, it leads me to it. So duplicating this, and let's call this BP multi-switch door. Let's open it. And what we will not need an input. This door opens on its own. And we will not need a rattle. This will not be needed. We will need the door unlock. And we do not need the begin. We actually do need, we can make a widget for this door, like do something to open this door. So basically, let's go to update widget. This door will have two states. It will have close, let's set closed by default, and then opening, basically closing and opening. But let's set close and open. Doesn't really matter. So when it's closed, we will say that both switches need to be pressed. Let's capitalize the first ones. Not pressed actually, it needs to be on. And every other case, we don't need to say anything. So compile and save. We do have an error because we're calling a rattle when there is no rattle. And of course, we do not need the front side. We do not need to calculate directions. Doesn't matter that it's used. We're gonna delete it when it's used. So we need when it's open to be opening, when it's closed to be when it's closed to be opening, when it's open to be closing. And we don't need to actually be from start and end. We need it to continue from where it was. So this will go to play and this will go to reverse, because this door will be going down when it's the two switches are off, and when they're both on, it will be going up. So we do want it though to play a sound when it's doing this. So we're gonna play sound and play sound. The first one would be door lift, and the other one will also be door lift. But we want the one that is going down to be a little bit more deeper sound, so it will go to 0.8 pitch, so it sounds deeper. And this will be leave as is, and that would be it from the sounds. Now, the next thing we need to do is actually change this model. So we're gonna go and find our model over here, which is not pretty sure which, oh, here it is. This is supposed to be prop pack. I'll find it from here. Yep, we found it. And let's go here and put it in. It's pivoted wrongly, but it doesn't matter. We will just, I don't like this side. Oh, it has a wrong material. Yeah, because I changed the door, but the material was kept the same. Now I can press this arrow over here to return it to default. And this is something that happened. If you change the mesh, the material is kept the same from the previous mesh you had, unless you have a default material which changes it to the default material of the new mesh. But if you have overridden the material in the previous mesh, it will keep the overridden material. Anyway, let's continue. Let's bring the door a little bit more to the middle. I think that's about fine. Gonna press a bit up. Okay, compile and save. And let's bring it in the map also. Go to blueprints, go to doors, and multi-switch door. We could have named it something else. This is the front side, this is the front side, all right. Could be a little bit bigger. We could make it a little bit. It stretches it a little bit, but yeah, I'll make it, I like it a little bit bigger. It's too big now. Never, as you can see, never do that on the blueprint, because when you're doing it on the whole actor, you are also making smaller the collisions. So even if it looks nice, it might not work correctly. So if I wanted to do this, I had to go to the prop itself and then do it. Yeah, I think that's fine. Making it a little bit larger and a little bit smaller. I can do that inside the blueprint also. I can undo all these changes and just do it here. All right. Let's make the collision box a little bit bigger also. All right, so has to be a little bit higher too. All right, now this door will be only unlocking this way. So if we started this way, we would have been blocked. Doesn't matter. Now, I think this is it for this one. On the next one, we're gonna do the coding to make the two switches, open the door. Goodbye.